Do you like toys? Big Bad Toy Store has toys. If you click the link in the description below and give them money, you too can have toys. Now watch my video. Hello and welcome to VR Reviews. Today we'll be reviewing the Astrobots Argus. So yes, here we have a robot from the Astrobots line. They're made by Toy Notch, which is kind of a little indie company. This is not normally my kind of thing. I'm not a big robot guy, but I was convinced to pre-order it just on the basis that it looked really cool and really posable. And it is both of those things. So if you're into robots or just super posable figures, it might be worth looking into. Alright, starting off with a quick size comparison, of course here we have Argus. Here's our standard Marvel Legends 6-inch Cosmic Armor Iron Man and 3 3/4-inch Marvel Universe Wolverine. Argus is a 1/12 scale figure and meant to be taller than normal characters, and he is. He's a good bit taller and bulkier than an average 6-inch scale figure, and of course much bigger than a 3 3/4-inch figure, so you can certainly use him in a 6-inch scale display. Or if you want to have like a giant robot, you could use him for 3 3/4-inch or smaller things. Anything really, I guess, just depending upon what you want him for. Now let's get everything else out of here and just look at Argus. Alright, moving on to our 360 spin. The bulk of Argus is molded in dark gray plastic, and he has the occasional bit that's molded in lighter gray plastic, and then he's got some noticeable panels that are yellow with some accents on them. There's not a lot of paint going on, pretty much none at all. But he is very clean looking, and he is probably something that could benefit from a wash or some panel lining if that is something you want to do yourself. But for the most part, other than being a little bit flat, I have no problem with the way he looks. Head sculpt wise, Argus's head matches the rest of his body. It's dark gray with some light gray accents around the mouth and a big yellow stripe across his head. His eyes are little transparent spheres that light up whenever you push down on his head, as he has a LED in his neck and it sort of shines up through his head. It's not very bright, but I suppose it's a decent enough feature. And in terms of the actual sculpt, it is very robotic looking, and I don't really have any massive complaints about it. Lots of nice little panels and stuff. Pretty much what you would expect. Articulation-wise, this figure is really good. It's where the figure really shines. His head and neck move around, pivot, go forward and back. This little divot that it's in makes it a bit more difficult to get it in the pose you want, but it's not terrible. Shoulders move around in the socket, in and out, forward and back. Bicep cut, double jointed elbows, wrist hinge and rotation. Each one of his fingers is on a hinge that goes in and out, and then there are 3 actual hinges for the fingers that let you coil them up, and then his thumb has a ball peg attaching it to the hand, and has a hinge like the other fingers do. You get a really mobile ball peg in the diaphragm, and a big hinge that goes forward and back. Hips go forward and back, in and out. And these little things on his hips move up and down. I'm not really sure why, but you can move those around if you want to. Thigh cut, double jointed knees, ankle hinge and pivoting, and a toe joint. So you should be able to get him into all kinds of cool robot poses. Accessories wise, the only thing you get are these hand cannons. You get one for each side. The base of them match the color of his body, and the barrels themselves are a slightly different color of gray. They're fine, but I personally don't care much for them, and they do inhibit his wrist articulation a bit whenever you have them equipped. But if you do want to arm him with something, you do have an option for that. Packaging-wise, you get a pretty standard windowless box. Argus, picture of the character. Astrobots, Robotic Space Colonization Force. 1/12 scale collectible figure. Toy Notch, Toy Forge. And on the back you get some schematics and description for the robot. Unfortunately, since you don't have a window, it's not really good for in-package display, but I guess it's still a nice-looking box. And that about wraps it up for Argus, so until next time, goodbye!